morning all, welcome to Rugby Chat, 1st of July 2025, huge week ahead, as you can see by my fancy background and our fancy new header across the top. We've not only got club rugby here in New Zealand, but we've also got all the international rugby that's happening around the world this week. Just off the top of it, 13 odd test matches this weekend, so if you like test footy, you're in for a bloody yay. So, but we'll jump straight into what we normally would do, and that is introduce our good friend Mike from down south. Good morning, Mike. How are you today?
Yeah, going good, mate. Yep, just come off a big weekend, but yeah, I'm fizzed and ready to go.
Fizzed and ready to go. I mean, the thing is, we're going to be giving out some tips here for the test matches and Lions tours and all that. And Leo the Lion, he's just been joined by the 2005 Barney the Bear. Well, that's what I call him anyway. So we'll talk about all those games coming up. But in club rugby, around the country, it's all getting to the pointy end of the season. And I just want to give a first shout out to my Johnsonville Hawks. Woo-woo! They've made the Jubilee Cup, but they've got to play Upper Hutt this weekend in the elimination round, and Upper Hutt beat them 21-16 or something last weekend, so hopefully they can turn the tables to get to the next round. But, Kiwi, they're back on top of the roost on the coast after their defeat last year by Wests in the Taylorville Wolves End Trophy. That ended their 1 million game winning streak. They lost again this year to Wests during the round robin, but they completely annihilated the Wests boys on Saturday to take out the Jubilee Trophy, which was the Buller West Coast, combined comp. And now they play Grey Valley this weekend in the Taylorville semi-final. So good luck to them. And then also good luck to Old Boys in Westport, who now go off and play off to White Star, to play Westport in the grand final for Buller. So plenty of stuff happening. Teams have all finished up. We're getting to the pointy end and the wire wrapper. I'm just talking off the top of my head. It's really, I suppose the thing is, it's really, really close, correct? In all the club competitions, the top 4 or 5s.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, especially on the around here in Mid Canterbury, and also I've noticed there's some good results coming in from the West Coast with the Kiwi team on a roll at the moment.
Yeah, and guess what? That means passionate fans, correct? You know where I'm going here, eh? People, pull your fucking head in. That's all I can say. I've had a guts full. I mean, we saw Horowhenua take a stand, right? We saw everyone backing Horowhenua, and what happens? 3 days later, you see some idiot in Taranaki charge the referee, and boom, he gets 3 years suspension from the game. People, you can go out there and enjoy your club rugby, but please suck it up a bit. I still talk about the 1905 try that wasn't against Wales. Use wrong mistakes and all that sort of stuff to make little fables, myths, legends of players. Oh, Mike got that try. He got that try. He ran 70 metres from front row to get that try. So, utilise that, people, please. And just enjoy the rugby. There you go. There's my rant.
Yeah, no, you're right, 100%. With regards to that incident in Horowhenua Kapiti, the general public was warned the previous week that any more behaviour would result in swift action, and they've come out and done it, and I back them 100%.
And that's the thing. Everyone does, all except the numpties that are out there. If you want to be a numpty, stay at home and watch a live stream, because you can now. So, but anyway, Mid Canterbury, you've got some celebrating to do this week, don't you?
Yeah, it was a big weekend for Southern Rugby. We had all our senior teams had good wins. Started on Friday night with the girls taking out the Mid Canterbury South Canterbury combined competition bet at Pleasant Point 19-10. In the rain out at Hines, it was a great game of rugby. Pleasant Point, obviously the top seed from South Canterbury, they come out fizzing, and they really took it to our girls. But our girls were equally up to the task, and they come away with the win, which is great. So they celebrated into the early hours of the morning and some, so that was good. And the Southern senior side had a decisive win over Celtic. I think Celtic looked a bit tired after their win, or after their loss to Waihora last week, and our boys come out and won that one. And our senior Bs also had a win, so yeah, it was a great weekend for Southern Rugby, and that takes us well clear on the top of the table for the Waters Cup. Now this week they are heading over the bridge to play Rakaya, which will be another good game.
Wow, a triple celebration. How was the head on Sunday?
Oh, the head wasn't too good on Saturday, but I still got up and went to kids rugby, and then it was probably wasn't too much better on Sunday either. But the boys and the girls partied hard, which is good.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, across the bottom of your screen, I am saying drop your comments. If we're missing the wonderments of your club, if you're watching us, drop them in the comments. We'll give your club a shout out. We'll give you a shout out. But so anyway, what else have we got happening around the world? I mean, the Scottish have arrived here in New Zealand to play the Maoris in Whangarei this week. We've got the Black Ferns playing this weekend as well, I believe. I think they're playing a Black Ferns 15 before they play Australia next week, and I'll be at that game. It's all gearing up to be intense, wouldn't you say? Because you've got all of your club rugby finals happening, and then everyone needs to get home or get down to the grandstand, like at Forsyth Bar there behind us on the screen, for Test match footy.
Yeah, no, it's getting pretty full on. Obviously, we've got club rugby happening, coming to the pointy end of that competition. We've got international teams arriving. We've got the Scottish here, as you said. The All Blacks are playing on Saturday. We've got the British and Irish Lions playing the Reds, and then they're playing the Waratahs, and then obviously they've got the girls. It's just all go, but it's good. It's great.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to just keep that running along the bottom at the moment because there's too many games just to keep clipping backwards and forwards. But it does kick off tomorrow with the Lions taking on the Reds. But what I can do, though, is today they've brought out the new All Black jersey. Looks a bit similar to what I'm wearing, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks all right. Just another All Black jersey to me, but it's kind of obviously they've gone away from the traditional All Black jersey, but it looks all right, I guess.
Yeah, well, the thing is, believe it or not, it's a hooped jersey. A hoop jersey, you say? So what we have to do is, with the use of technology, we literally have to zoom straight in to see it. You'll see the pin marks here, and then it goes nice and whatever, and then it comes back to pinpoints again. So actually the better one to look at is here. See, it just looks all black. But then if you zoom in on this, you've got all those like little hoop mark things across the Ultrad logo. Then it's all plain around the, what do you call it? The Adidas logo. But then it comes back across the shoulders, back to this like almost a pearled look. So it'll be interesting to see, and then just zooming in on that. That looks like it's embroidered, but the thing is, I jumped ahead too far myself. If I go back here, the problem is, as far as I know, I don't know if that is embroidered, and it's still the stickers. Now, luckily, I don't wear my jerseys 24/7. So all my stickers are still fine. But there are people out there that will buy an All Black jersey and will wear it all the time, those stickers end up falling off. I mean, if you're going to spend $150 on a jersey, please, Adidas, can you bring back embroidered logos? What's your thought on that?
Yeah, that's probably a fair comment. I can't really tell whether that one doesn't look like it's embroidered, but that's a fair comment. Obviously, the price of jerseys at the moment it's quite expensive, so you want some bang for your buck, ideally.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the good news is, though, you've got all those jerseys coming out, and you've got all these other jerseys coming out. But and I'll bring it up now anyway, along the bottom here. I'll bring this back up. Of course, in a couple of weeks' time, we've got the Anzacs, or the Australia-New Zealand invitational team. I wish they'd just called it the Anzac. I hate this AUNZ thing. But so we've got Shannon Frizzell, David Harvey, Sean Stevenson, and Falau Fakatava making up the New Zealand angle of the side. Hey, at least we got one more player than we had in 1989.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actually quite glad that Falau Fakatava was there, because he's not a bad halfback, and obviously Sean Stevenson's going overseas, so he gets the final go in the black jersey, and David Harvey is in there as well. Obviously, he missed out on the All Blacks, so he can have a run around there and stay fit, I suppose.
Yeah, and it'll be good to see how Frizzell's going as well, because there is, your little rumours floating around about him making a bit of a comeback, and you can sort of look at the last time he played. He's still wearing an all black jersey, nothing, no white collar, no nothing like that. But I mean, as I said, they released the jersey. Everyone hates it. I don't. The only thing I don't like about it is the logo that they've used, and because the actual jersey is a throwback to 1989, when we had McDowell, Boddicker, and Kieran Crowley as the New Zealand reps in that team who got beaten by the Lions, I believe. But it's a good throwback. The logo, yeah, someone got paid a lot of money to come up with that logo, and to me, I think they're taking the piss a bit.
Yeah, I don't really like it either, to be fair.
Yeah, but the good news is it is available at your local store, and if you like a good old cotton jersey, apparently they've got this one. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, because seeing we're on the roll of jerseys. The other one is the Pacifica First Nations one, which has been coached by Tana Umanga, and it'll be interesting to see who actually gets into that squad. But this is the jersey that they'll be wearing. Now, if people thought the Anzac jersey was ugly, what are they making out of this one?
Well, it looks like they've incorporated all the colours of the Pacific, maybe red for Tonga and white for Fiji. I'm not too sure, but it doesn't look too bad. I mean, I like this one better than the Anzac one.
Oh, okay. Because the other thing is, and it always makes me giggle when I see it, the logo there, every time I see a logo that's a thumbprint, all I can think of is Te Papa, the National Museum of New Zealand. Yeah, I just find that quite hilarious myself. But you can see in there that they have incorporated all the colours of the Pacific and Aboriginal peoples, or First Nation people, should I say. So that's pretty cool. So, I mean, good on them. I think it will be an interesting, what do you call it? Matchup. But then, of course, on Saturday, also about 3:30, we've got the Scots who are on their Pacific tour about to play Fiji. But first off, they do want to play the Maoris. Of course, they have a new jersey. So it's sort of like, hopefully everyone's saved up, because if you've just brought all these new jerseys that's come out, that's about $700 just for a replica, for 4 replica jerseys. How are people meant to support teams if they want to support the All Blacks, they want to support the Maoris, they want to support the Anzacs, they want to support the Pacifica side? $700-800 is a lot of coin to fork out on 4 jerseys, is it not?
Yeah, it is a lot of coin, and with the living crisis at the moment, there's going to be a lot of people that just can't afford it. But for avid jersey collectors like yourself, you'll be all over it, I guess.
Well, I hope so. We'll see. Just watch this space is all I can say. Because I did actually have an Anzac jersey, and someone gave me an offer I couldn't refuse a few years back, and I still kicked myself for getting rid of it. But hey, at the end of the day, it's only a piece of fabric, and they gave me silly money for it, so I took it. Why not? So back to where we've got the show. Again, if you're watching, give us a shout out, and we'll try and decide on if we can answer your questions or not. So we might as well kick off with the game on tomorrow, and that is the British Lions. They are taking on the Reds tomorrow night at Suncorp. Now, what did you think of the Lions' performance against the Force in the weekend? They were very dominant. If Pollock can pull his head in a little bit, he could be a danger in this tour.
Yeah, I thought it was a very dominant display from the British and Irish Lions. They ran the ball wide, they ran it straight, and they pretty much dominated the Force. I was a bit disappointed with the Force. I thought they might have put up a bit more of a fight, but yeah, obviously, you got all these international stars, up against an Aussie team that didn't really do well in the Super Rugby competition. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all these guys pretty much, Finn Russell had a run around in the weekend, last weekend. So he gets another crack tomorrow night. That is against the Brumbies, eh? Oh, the Reds, sorry. Yeah. But we do see Bundy Aki come on. Mario Docci, the captain, he gets a run around. These sort of teams, Andy Farrell won't have long to, decide on who his dirt trackers are and who his first teamers. Pretty much, though, we'll know by Saturday when they take on the, the Waratahs. But first, as I said, they've got to get through this side here from Queensland, and they'll be up for the fight because they did show promises of good rugby this year.
Yeah, the British Irish Lions have got a couple of injuries, but obviously, by the time they come to playing the Aussies, they'll be putting out a full strength side. But obviously, with the Queensland Reds, they're missing a few players that will be in camp with the Wallabies. So there's been a bit of juggling around there, but they should go right. They'll play all right. I'm not picking them to win, but yeah, it's probably an experience that some of these Queensland players won't get again.
Yeah, well, true. And sure, you got a red team playing a red team. What do you think of the Flash 2025 Lions jersey? I see this with the saddle around the shoulders. If you change that red or maroon to white, you've actually got Petone Rugby Club. And it's always been touted as one of the better rugby jersey designs. I think I like it. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. It's quite flash, actually. The mix of colours and all that, and even the Waratahs one's not too bad either.
Yeah, well, the Waratahs, they play on Saturday, so they've brought out another jersey. So we must be approaching about $1,000 now. I'm keeping a running total of how many. If you go buy all these jerseys for this week, there's the $1,000. There's the grand out the back door. It's what you would expect from a New South Wales jersey. Okay, NRI, sure they pay a lot of money to be there, but it's very sort of in your face, isn't it? The advertising boarding.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And you got what's that on the back? Santos. It must be another one of these sponsors, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they pretty much sponsor all of Australian rugby, Santos, because you'll see it on all of their jerseys. But yeah, so what we'll do is we'll start seeing if we can sort of pick the important games first of these test matches. So we have the Lions playing the Reds. I'm going to go. I'll kick it off. I'll go the Lions to win by 20.
Yeah, I was thinking something along those lines too. I'll go the Lions by 15 at least.
Okay, and now if you think that we're wrong, throw your tips in the comments, and you never know, we may be in touch with you if you get a lot of them right. So then the next match we've got is the New Zealand Māori taking on Scotland at Whangarei there at 3:30 New Zealand time on Saturday. And yeah, they started off slowly against the Japanese. It was I think it's their 82nd win as a New Zealand Māori side since the 1880s. Winning percentage of around 62%, not bad for an invitational team. Japan came out flying, but they just got wound down in the end by the flair of the Maoris. How do you think they're going to go against the Scotland team, remembering they don't have all their top players because their top players are apparently in the Lions?
Yeah, I thought the Maori had a good game against Japan. Kurt Eklund and Cullen Grace led from the front, and obviously Zahn Sullivan. And Riviera's Reihana had good games as well. Yeah, like you said, there's a few Scottish in the Lions side, so yeah. I'm going to go the Maori All Blacks by 12.
Maori All Blacks by 12. I think they'll get up, and I think they'll win by 8. There we go. Only because Scotland will be wanting to, try a few things out before they head over to Fiji, and they don't want to go to Fiji with a massive thumping under their belts, because that would just give the Flying Fijians a bit of a spur against them the following week, which will be actually quite a good game to watch, I think. But after that, at 5 p.m. New Zealand time, we've got Japan, who, as we said, last week was Japan 15, but this is a full test match this week. So Eddie Jones is going to have his boys fired up against Wales.
Yeah, right. I think there's a few Wales on the British and Irish Lions as well. But I didn't think the Japanese played too bad the other night. They just got beaten by a better side than the Maoris. But I'm going to pick Wales by 12. Wales by 12.
Well, I'm going to go for Japan, only because Wales have been so woeful. Sure, it may be good to get away from home and get away from all the pressures of all the the English media and all that. But I think you can't discount Eddie Jones, because any team that has Eddie Jones, you've got to be wary of, I believe. I'm going to go Japan to win by 10.
Yeah. Okay. Righto.
And then, of course, I've got there 10 o'clock, but it's not 10 o'clock. I'll just quickly fix that because I stuffed up the number ends there. We've got New Zealand playing. After that, we've got the All Blacks playing. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff. I'll just quickly change that on our little ticker tape. I don't know why they did that, but why is that doing that? Hang on, sorry. I'll just quickly fix this. There we go. And you go away. I hate notifications. Save. I'll just bring that back up again. I don't know why I had 10 o'clock there. I must have been doing too many copy and pastings. So we've got the All Blacks on Saturday at Forsyth Bar Stadium. It's a sellout, playing the French C team, but it's pretty much the team that we thought last week we would see. What do you think?
yeah, there's been a bit of hype around the French, isn't there? Obviously, it's not an A team or it's not a B team, so it's a C team. But I've been saying, you can't underestimate the French. They're obviously missing a couple of stars. Dupont being one. Thomas Ramos, I can't see him in there. Yeah, I think the All Blacks should beat them and beat them convincingly. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I do know that because Toulouse, they won their 24th, I think it is, French top 14 title in the weekend in a gutsy win over Bordeaux, who are the European champions. And you had some players like Ramos and Biel Barry and a couple of other guys there that could still join the tour. But what I didn't know, and probably a lot of people didn't know, that the French clubs, who are very influential, of course, have a rule in place. You can't play for France if you've already played 2,000 minutes of rugby in one calendar season. Now, I thought, wow, that's interesting, because that works out to be about 35 games or 25 games. That's a lot of rugby if you play every minute.
That is an interesting rule, and if that is correct, well, there's going to be a few star French players that won't be jumping on a plane to join their mates over here, will there?
No, because they have your top 14 where they play 20 odd games. Then they play their 10, 15 games in the European Championships. So it's sort of like, and then they have their Six Nations. So it's covering all rugby, as far as I'm aware. So it will be interesting. But how do you think, when you think of them sending this team, how do you think the French would act if we go to Stade de France with our Heartland 15? Because that's basically what we're seeing from the French, isn't it?
Yeah, that would just be an insult to the French. But all this. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's all speculation that the French are bringing. Well, obviously they're not bringing their A team, so you might as well say it's a B team. No one really knows apart from the coaching staff and all that what sort of team it is. And if they do come out on Saturday and beat the All Blacks, well, then what are people going to say? You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%, because it is the French, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're always got to be wary of the French. They haven't been just given a ticket to New Zealand for 2-3 weeks and said, enjoy your holiday. They will have something up their sleeves. And if anything, what have they got to lose? They're just ball around and try and keep the All Blacks off their paces. Also, remember, they got up over the England 15 team, who are off to Argentina for a tour as well. So, of course, I can't actually see all of what I've got here. Hang on, I'll just bring this up so I can see where I'm talking now. So England 15 are off to Argentina, and for them to be, to beat the England 15, I'm sure there's a lot of Englishmen in the Lions, but it's still a good result for the French going to New Zealand, getting a win in London.
Yeah, it's going to get game time under their belt, which is what they need, obviously, a newish squad. But in saying that, the French coach and the management team, they've been around a long time, and they are experienced heads, so it'll be interesting to see how they go.
Yeah, well, it will be interesting, but I'm going to just go straight out there, and I'm going to say All Blacks by 20.
Yeah, I think there'll be more than 15 points in it, so I'm gonna I'll say at least 20 to 25 as well, hopefully, and hopefully the French don't beat us for the New Zealand public's sake.
Well, for Razor Robertson's sake. But, of course, we look at the New Zealand team, and, of course, the injuries, everyone's going on about, blah, 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 and he's missed out, and he's missed out. Well, we'll start in the props. Tamati Williams is gone for the current foreseeable future with a knee operation due. So he's been replaced in the props here by George Bauer. Not a bad replacement, eh?
No, that's a good replacement. Tamati Williams, he wasn't 100% going into the final. But he played on anyway, and now he's suffering the consequences, as so to speak.
Yeah, and of course in the Lucy's, who we just go, so Wallace Satiti's out, and Christian Leo Willie is replacing him. So I'm not too sure who's coming on as the cover for Jacobson now, because that's who Christian was covering for injury.
Dalton Papali'i, isn't it?
That's what it was. Yes, thank you for reminding me that. I just too many team lists to remember, but not a great. Oh my God, we've lost Artie. Oh my God, we've lost Will Jordan. Attitudes. So in that loose forward pack with Fidel, Karifi, Savia, Jacobson, Leo Willie, and Papali'i. Who do you think will be our starting 6, 7, and 8s?
Well, I'd like to see Karifi get a start, but it's highly unlikely. It'd be Fina, Artie, and Papali'i probably.
Okay, well I'll say Karifi will get a start, and Artie, and I'll go for Leo Willie, because Leo Willie, not often I would agree with Justin Marshall, is a specialist number 8. That's where he plays his games. That's what he does best. So I think having that number 8 there with Artie, Leo Willie, and then with Artie on the side and Karifi, I just think that's going to be amazing to see. And of course, everyone's going on, I noticed on the TV here in New Zealand for the first 5s. Of course, we've got Barrett and McKenzie. And I don't know, it must have been Captain Hurricane, Mr. Craig Werder, voting. But on the breakdown show here in New Zealand, Ruben Love was actually the most voted for to be first 5. Well, that ain't going to happen, is it? So who's it going to be, Barrett or McKenzie?
Could be McKenzie, I think.
Yeah. I'd probably think McKenzie will be on the bench and Bowden Barrett will start, because McKenzie still had the grand final last week in Super Rugby, and Bowden Barrett's had a couple of weeks off and will be a little bit fresher. So I'd go for Barrett to be the starting 10 and McKenzie to come off the bench. So that's quite exciting. But of course we'll know tomorrow which way Robinson and company are going. So we're both in agreement anyway that whoever they put out there, they're going to win by plenty.
Yep, they should do. They should beat them convincingly.
Yeah. So then anyway, after sitting down and maybe getting a refill in your rum or your whiskey, at 10 o'clock, the Lions come out again twice in a week. Oh, don't you love tours? We have the dirt trackers and then the midweekers and then the Saturday games. So they're going to be taking on the Waratahs. I'm sorry, but I think the Waratahs are going to get a thumping like the Force.
Yeah, so do I. I think they're going to be totally outplayed and outclassed.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, as I said, for the previous game against the Reds on tomorrow night, I think, the Reds will put up a fight, but the Lions will get through. But the Waratahs have been woeful Waratahs. Sometimes I look at that and think, are they the Warriors? Because, they keep saying this is our year, and they start off with a hiss and a roar and then whimper away to the sidelines. So I'm actually going to say the Lions to win by 40.
Yeah, it's going to be a big margin. Obviously, the Waratahs have got players in the Wallabies squad away for that as well. And it'll be interesting to see if Dan McKellar turns up to the press conference afterwards.
I know. And so anyway, so you watch that Now, if you want to go to bed, you can go to bed and have a little kip if you wanted to. But at 3:10, Sunday morning New Zealand time, the South Africans take on the Italians. I'm going to say the Italians, and this might be me just absolutely shooting myself in the foot here. They will lose, but I think they'll put up a decent fight. Sure, they started their tour off last weekend with a 73 points to 6 victory over Namibia. But then, of course, South Africa absolutely annihilated the Barbarians by 50 points with several key All Blacks in the team.
The Springboks are looking really strong. I think they're going to be our main danger going forward. Obviously, they're giant bulls in the forward pack, and you've got Cheslin and Colby out running rings around everyone on the wing, and Damien Aladende in the midfield, and Money Lebok. The Springboks are looking really good at this stage. I think they're going to waste them. To be fair.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, they should do. I mean, they should win by 60. But I think for that first 10, 20 minutes, enjoy, if you're an Italian supporter, enjoy the first 10 or 20 minutes, and then maybe you can shoot off and have a kip. Because, after a day of all-day Saturday rugby, continues at 5 a.m. New Zealand time, we've got Georgia hosting the Irish over there. I believe it's going to be in Tbilisi. The wannabe Six Nations team up against, one of the best Six Nation teams.
Yeah, that should be another landslide to the Irish. Them missing some of their stars, Bunyard Key, Gary Ringrose, all that carry on. But that should be another one-sided affair. But it's good to see places like Georgia or teams like Georgia actually get game time.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go for an upset here, mainly because A players are in the Lions, and I'm going to go for Georgia to win this by 4 points.
Hey, you're brave.
I know. And it's worth a bit on the old TAB. Disagree with me? Throw it in the comments.
So if Andy Farrell's over in Aussie coaching the British and Irish Lions, who's coaching the Irish?
Oh, good question.
Well, it's not Johnny Sexton because he's an Aussie with him.
I honestly don't know. I'll have to do some research on that and get it up onto Rugby Redefined.
Someone will know.
I'll find that out. But then after that, of course, 7:40 a.m. on Sunday morning, so a bit of breakfast TV for you. We've got Argentina taking on the England 15. After what Argentina did to the Lions and second-string England team getting beaten by a third-string French team, this, in theory, should be a 20-point win to the Pumas, should it not?
Yeah, it should be a win to the Pumas. With obviously Marcus Smith's away on Lions duty, and he's one of the key influential England players, and Mario Antoji away as well. But the Argentinians should just steamroll them. Yeah,
and of course I've totally buggered up the next set of games here. I'll just quickly check my phone here because I don't know why I had those games. I completely mucked up my Sunday list here, so I'll just quickly bring that up if I can get bloody internet coverage here in the bar, which you don't want to be interrupted by life. Here we go. So on Sunday, I thought that I had that buggered up. We've got on Sunday morning, after all that, we've got Chile taking on Romania. There's a bit of a tri-series going on between them and Brazil and an Argentina 15. Interesting to see teams like Romania and Chile and Brazil and all that going hard out during a test window.
Yeah, I can't say I really follow those teams too much, but it's good to see them field aside and have a go. It's not all about winning; it's about representing your country and wearing the playing strip and having fun. That's what it boils down to, as well.
Yeah. And then, of course, after that, all eyes will be turning to North Carolina because the USA, who really need to sort out their life in the international wilderness, will be playing Belgium, who have been playing some good rugby in the European Championships.
Yeah, right. I'll pick the US by 17.
Okay, only because they've been playing like crap. I'm going to go Belgium. There you go. So it'll be interesting to see how these results pan out over the weekend. And then, of course, I know something you'll be doing on Sunday afternoon at 3:30, and that is watching the Wallabies taking on your boys from Fiji.
Yeah, that must be the Wallabies' first game of their campaign, is it?
It is, yeah. So, and the fun thing is, they were about to take all their star players and throw them into the Wallaby camp. They almost got away with it. But the Brits were quite quick to say, hang on, you guys, part of the deal was to have your best players. So, i.e., we saw Ben Donaldson return to the Western Force. You've got a couple of the Waratah boys returning to the Waratahs. You've got the, a few of the Wallabies and the Reds back at the Reds because, they were hoping to give their Wallabies a nice rest. And now they're making news about how they've been recalled to the Waratahs. They've been recalled to the Reds. Well, they should have just been there in the first place. They were trying to play some cloak and daggers with the selections.
Yeah, that's interesting you should say that because I was thinking the same thing the other day. Fiji, they've got a couple of brought on a couple of exciting players. Obviously, you've got Marcy there and Long and Marcy. And where's that game being played? Is it at Suva or Suva Park? Or
that game is being played, and I'll just quickly bring that up on my. That is being played in Newcastle.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, right. So the Fijians are jumping on a plane and heading to Aussie.
Yeah. So let's hope the Drua curse doesn't follow the flying Fijians.
Yeah, well, that's true. Obviously, they haven't got a good record on winning away, but I'll pick the Wallabies by 12.
Well, yeah, I think the Wallabies will get up. They'll have major cases to talk about moving forward. So, but otherwise, as I said, it hasn't finished yet. If I bring up the World Championship, we've got the under-20s. So New Zealand stuttered their way to a win a couple of days ago against the Italians by 14 points to 5. They were apparently in an easy group. So they've got Ireland and Georgia to come, and it all kicks off on Saturday morning, 4 a.m. New Zealand time, when they take on the Georgians over there in Italy.
Yeah, they were lucky to get that win on the weekend. There was a couple of players that stood out. I just can't remember the names off the top of the head, but they'll be looking to redeem themselves and get back on track.
Totally. And the other thing is, they don't have a coach. They're being run by the four assistant coaches. So New Zealand Rugby, why have you not announced who your head coach for your under-20s is? Who is, the mic in the room to say, this is what I want, instead of having 4 mics in the room saying, this is what we want. So, it's an interesting one that we don't have a head coach. So I suppose that, they couldn't afford an extra 3 or 4 players to be the assistants for the head coach, because you've probably got a team of 30 management with the team.
Wasn't Milton Haig their coach?
Yeah, but he's not there apparently.
Yeah, no, he stepped down, didn't he? So yeah, maybe they haven't appointed anyone or found a replacement for him yet. So
no, so that's quite interesting. So as I said, those games all kick off from about 1:30 on Saturday morning. We've got Aussie taking on the Scottish, the English taking on South Africa, France doing Wales, Argentina are playing Spain. Ireland are taking on Italy, so that'll be an interesting one to see how it goes, because after the Georgian game, I think that's on Thursday New Zealand time, New Zealand next week will be playing. Is that Thursday? Yeah, next week. New Zealand will be playing Ireland, so it's a 4:00 wake up call for that game if you want to get up and watch it. But yeah, plenty on, eh?
Geez, well, that's not a bad weekend of rugby, is it?
No, and I mean, sure. I mean, and I wish, the good thing about this game starting off in this weekend's Test match, we'll go back to the French All Blacks game, is, it doesn't matter what the weather's going to be. It'd be cold. It is Dunedin, but it is under the roof. And one good thing about Forsyth Bar Stadium is it does have a great atmosphere when it's sold out.
Yeah, it does. You get the student population. They're always up for a good time, so they'll get along there and make a heap of noise. But there'll be a lot of people travelling from, I dare say, all over New Zealand down for that game. So it's going to be a big weekend for Dunedin, and obviously the accommodation suppliers and hoteliers are going to get a boost, which is good, and it's always good for the local economy.
Yeah, well, it is school holidays here in New Zealand at the moment, so I don't know how many students will be there. Maybe, Mum and Dad shouted them a trip back up to Auckland to buy $18 pounds of butter. But because if it's $18 in Auckland, imagine how much butter costs in Dunedin. My God. That's a whole another subject. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, we've got, as I said, all the club rugby finals and semi-finals and last round of knockout, last round of round robins, all to come on Saturday. But of course, we do get to sit back and watch the Lions have another crack at the Aussies tomorrow night. Any passing thoughts from you of what you're going to be putting your feet up and what game actually does stand out for you this weekend?
It'll be quite interesting to see the Wallabies and Fiji have a go at each other. Obviously, the All Blacks and France is going to be a game I will watch. I'll have to grab the paper and have a study up the TV guide and see if I can fit in something else around club rugby this weekend. But I'll sure I'll make something work.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. To me, it is the All Blacks France game. It's still a Test match. Whether we have playing our B team against their D team and all that, as a Kiwi, if you don't get behind the All Blacks and support them to the hilt, go and support Australia.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah. It'll be a good guide for the three coaches to get some game time on under some of these players, and just move forward and see how everything progresses, and hopefully there's not too many injuries.
Yeah, no, so that's about it now, though. I mean, I think we've covered pretty much the entire globe today. Depending on what happens with the naming of the teams, if there is a shock announcement of who's in the squad and that, we might bring you a Friday special. I feel like I could have a couple of drinks on a Friday talking rubbish. So yeah, that's about it from me. So we're both sort of, you're looking forward to Sunday. I'm looking forward to Saturday, pretty much until next week or our next time. Thanks, Mike, and we'll
no worries. Always a pleasure. See you later.
Okay.